I figured the best place to start would be with one of the most famous faces in disability sports worldwide, decorated Paralympian, broadcaster and journalist Ade Adepitan, who told me how sport has changed his life.
I contracted polio when I was 15 months in Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria, and my parents saved up all their money to bring me over to the UK because they thought I'd have a better life. And I think the irony is, if I hadn't had a disability, I probably would have had a worse life than I've had. You know, it's just mad. Who can say that having a disability has actually made their life better? For me, I can most certainly say it had.
Believe in yourself. If you don't back yourself, nobody else will.
When I went to school, I was the only disabled kid in the school, and I always felt that I had to be fitter and stronger than all the other kids in order for them to respect me, because I didn't want to have to rely on anyone. I didn't want to have people always going, oh, there's poor Addy, let's help him into school, or let's carry his bags. I wanted to be able to do everything myself.
Ade was an integral part of the team that brought the Paralympics to London in 2012, and he believes we are still feeling the legacy of the Games today.
If we hadn't won the right to host the Paralympics in 2012, disability sport wouldn't be where it's at today. There was always the mistake that people were going to make, that the Paralympics coming to London was going to change everything. We're going to be as big as Premiership football. We're going to be as big as rugby and cricket. You're having a laugh. You're having a laugh. No, what it was going to do is it was going to kickstart it, and it was going to put it in people's faces and give people the opportunity to say, look, this is what it's about, and say, oh wow, that's wheelchair basketball. Those are the stars. Now you know them, right? Now it's about backing them. And I think that the legacy is people know who the athletes are. They know what Paralympic sport is, you know, and other kids who never would have heard about the sport before, like me in the 80s, now know where to go to play.
And one such place where young people and adults alike can go to play disability sports is at the Sheffield Steelers Wheelchair Basketball Club, where they can receive expert coaching from one of Addy's former GB teammates, Kevin Hayes.
Yeah, I played at GB for about 15, 16 years. Yeah, did 3 Paralympics. Sydney, which was 2000, Athens 2004, and Beijing 2008. Some people do say it's a bit more technical playing basketball in a chair than it is playing A-B running basketball, because you've got to take control of your chair and everything through your arms, shoulders and stuff like that.
Kevin is a true veteran of the game, having played for over 23 years, and he is a firm believer that sport can give disabled people a whole range of benefits.
And I think sport's very, very important in it. It's not just about the competing and the enjoyment of it, it just helps you in your day-to-day life, makes you stronger, fitter, everything about more healthier really, to be honest.
As with many disability sports, wheelchair basketball can also be played by the able-bodied, with players ranked on a scale of 1 to 5 based on their level of disability. Teams are only allowed a certain amount of points on the field at each time to keep things fair. So, now I've watched it from the sidelines. The only thing left to do is for me to see how hard it is for myself. And that means I've got to get in a chair and get out there. Before we got started, Coach put me through my paces with some punishing warm-ups and training routines. Once I was fully worn out, it was time to get the game underway. Wheelchair basketball is an incredibly intense physical sport, and I wasted no time getting stuck in. Despite my best efforts, I was thoroughly outclassed on the court, and spent most of my time racing up and down, just trying to keep up with play. I did manage a few good passes and shots, but unfortunately I wasn't able to make a basket.
I've got to say, wheelchair basketball is one of the hardest sports I have ever played. I was only playing for 7 minutes at a time, and my arms feel like jelly and my hands are all blistered. I've no idea how some of the guys were tearing up and down the court. But that being said, it was so much fun and really rewarding. And one of the great things about a sport like this is that the able-bodied can play alongside the disabled. And that's what it's all about sometimes. Equal opportunities. People can play on the same court as their friends and family and not feel like they have a disability.
One of the slightly less physically demanding, but no less challenging disabled sports is goalball. And where better to see how intense and skillful goalball can be than at the UK Championships at Ponsforge Leisure Centre in Sheffield, where teams from all across the country will battle it out for the top prize. Created as a sport for those with visual impairment, goalball involves teams of 3 players competing to throw a weighted ball into the opposing team's goal. As with many blind sports, the ball is filled with several bells so players can make blocks and saves. All players are also required to wear eye shades, meaning that people with different levels of visual impairment can all compete together. I wanted to learn about how goalball can help those with sight issues, so I've come to a training session organised by the Sheffield Royal Society for the Blind to find out more. Becky Ashworth is a coach for South Yorkshire Goalball and the National Development Manager for Goalball UK, and she has seen firsthand how sport can transform lives.
Just seeing how much goalball affects people when they first come to a session, they're quite quiet, they're very, they don't really socialise much, they're very much to themselves, but then give them a few sessions, they grow in confidence, independence. You just see how much it improves their socialisations, their confidence, personal well-being, fitness, everything, you name it, it improves all of it.
One of the more experienced athletes here is Northern All-Stars player Caleb Nenevin, who believes that sport has a real role in helping people with limited vision.
It's difficult to find many sports out there for visually impaired people to play. So the more sports there are, the more inclusive it is, the better it is for visually impaired people to get involved with. It gives a lot of people that I know confidence to be able to express themselves, where outside sports where they're having to depend on other people, something like goalball is something they can do by themselves without any trouble at all.
So now I've seen how it's supposed to be played, it's time for me to find out how hard it is for myself. And the only way to do that is to don a blindfold and give it a go.
After a quick team talk and getting my gear on, I was thrown straight into the deep end. It was incredibly disorientating, and losing the ability to see meant I could only rely on my ears and the communications from my teammates. Finally, it was time for me to do the hardest thing in goalball, face a penalty alone.
But that is definitely harder than it looks, and it's amazing how tiring it can be just lying on the floor. When you're without your sight, you have to rely on your teammates so much more. You wouldn't be able to play the game without the instructions that they give you, and it's left me with a massive sense of respect for some of the elite players in this game.
After trying some of the disability sports on offer and meeting some incredible and inspiring people, I've been left feeling overwhelmingly positive about the opportunities that those living with disabilities have to get involved with sport. However, there is undoubtedly still a long way to go to make sure that everyone, regardless of their situation, has the right to enjoy sport.
I know it's definitely a lot better now than it was 20 or 30 years ago, but it's still not good enough. You know, it's something has to change, it has to click in our society. For us to progress, for us to make the most of who we are as a country, we have to make everyone feel included.